Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you tonight for well, it's getting pretty late in my time. It's like 10 p.m. doing this review. So, yeah, I'm returning to you for the next album review, and this is for Stabbing Westward's new album, Chasing Ghost, that I just got done listening to for all 10 songs for this new album by Stabbing Westward Chasing Ghosts. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this, I guess, new Stabbing Westward Chasing Ghosts album. I'm sorry, my nose got really puffy, or my ears got really puffy, or whatever. So, yeah. And I'll let you know what I thought of this new Stabbing Westward album, Chasing Ghosts. So let's dive into this album review. Now, I remember reviewing two of their EPs, Hallowed Hymns and the Dead and Gone EP, and those weren't bad. But this album, it's something interesting. I don't know if I like it that much, but I I'm a little uncertain on this album because there's some good songs and then there's some iffy songs. Like Control Z was it was decent. It wasn't great, but it kind of brought the rating down for this album a little bit, but not too much. Um, Crawl was not a very good studio version to it. I'd give that probably a 3.5 out of 5. I don't like the studio version to Crawl. It's a little weird, and I'm just not feeling for that one. I Am Nothing was pretty good. I really enjoyed the first track on the album, so 5 out of 5. Damaged Goods was not too bad. It's a solid song, but it most of the songs almost sound the same. But I love the last song on the album. It sounds really different to close out this album. Um, Basically, what you're getting for most of this album, samey, uh, same repetitiveness with just sounding the same in their songs, in each song on this album, and it's kind of a shame, but at the same time, I didn't hate this album that much. I guess the repetitiveness can grow on you, just depends on the listener, I guess, that's listening to this album. Wasteland was not bad. I'd give that a 4.5 out of 5. Push was pretty long song. It was like 7 minutes and 28 seconds, but it didn't do so bad. Pretty cool intro, but most of the lyrics in the song sound samey with some of the production work and all that. But I think it did alright. Cold was my favorite one. I really like that. Dead and Gone, I like. But Crawl, I don't know if I'm feeling for Crawl that much. So 3.5 out of 5 for that one. Ghost is not too bad, but not anything impressive. Sorry if I'm breezing through this and not going into a lot more explanation on what I like and dislike about the album. I think this album has potential, but it also squanders it with some of the samey repetitiveness for the sounding the same kind of thing with each song, with really high pitched vocals from Christopher Hall. And it doesn't sound bad, but at the same time, it's like they're sounding the same with each song that you go through on this album. But there's a few different songs that kind of interest me on this album. Like I Am Nothing sounded really good. Damaged Goods made it sound like the same as the first song. Um, Cold was pretty solid. I really enjoyed that track, even though it did sound the same. There's some things I can appreciate about that song. Push was not too bad, like I said. Wasteland, not a bad song. Uh, Sorry if I'm breezing through the track list. I'm just trying to give you a good explanation on my overall thoughts on this album, and then I'm gonna rate it in a moment. Um, but the end was so different. I really love that song. I like how it differentiates from a certain sound after Ghosts. The cool thing about this album is that it leads into the next song, and that's pretty cool. So I'll give him that. But the album does tend to drag on a bit, uh, and not sound like something different that you're gonna be hearing from Stabbing Westward. But it's just samey vocals, samey pitches, and I think this album's average, in my opinion. It's not something I would go gun ho crazy for, but if you're a Stabbing Westward fan, you may actually like this album because it's coming out in a few hours. So, yeah. Overall, production, mixing, and execution, I think Stabbing Westward Chasing Ghosts is a average album. It's got some potential, but I don't know if it is worthy enough to be a good album because there are problems I have with this album. Mostly with Crawl. I don't like the new version to Crawl. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's average, but some moments in the track sound good, and then the rest of it just is forgettable. But that's just my opinion, at least. But overall, I think Stabbing Westward Chasing Ghosts album was an average album. Like I said, I guess you can check it out if you want to. It's something interesting, but nothing mind blowing. So, first score for me, I'm going to give Stabbing Westward Chasing Ghosts album a 7.5 out of 10. This was average. It was probably best that I gave it this rating because not all the songs are fantastic on this album, but I think the end had a lot of potential to close out this album. I Am Nothing was good, and then most of the other songs sound the same as like I Am Nothing with Christopher Hall's pitches with his vocals. It just sounds very I don't know the right word to put for what I'm trying to say, but still it just sounds familiar. That's the word I was trying to look for, familiar. It sounds familiar as the first song, and then it sounds the same, and da da da. So, yeah, Stabbing Westward's not my favorite band, but they have some alright songs and some pretty good songs. So, 7.5 out of 10 for Chasing Ghosts. Comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the Stabbing Westward Chasing Ghosts album if you've heard it. And if you enjoyed this album review that I made for you guys tonight, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can to support the channel. I will have another review coming out hopefully soon. I don't know if they're gonna have or if Charlie XCX is gonna drop her deluxe edition for Crash when the actual Crash album does come out at midnight tonight. So, gotta wait and see what happens. If not, I'm gonna have to wait to review it a few extra days if it doesn't come out at midnight. But, anyways, keep in mind this is just my opinion on this album for Stabbing Westward Chasing Ghosts. You don't have to agree with me on it. It's just how I felt when I was listening to this album. It's not the best album, but it's got some interesting songs that I found to be interesting. And then some songs where I'm like, they're kind of forgettable, but uh, kind of. Not 100% forgettable. Just, it just depends on how it sounds, is what I am careful for when I listen to a new song or whatever, or a new album. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this album review for Stabbing Westward Chasing Ghosts. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. I'll have another review out as soon as I can. So stay safe, take care, and as always, I'll see you in my next review.